Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about personal statement. What to write in your personal statement, what not to write in your personal statement. And we're going to generally discuss what personal statement should sound like. So, personal statement is one of two most important things in your application cycle. Personal statement and interview. Those are two most important things that can stand you out for the admissions committee. Bench test is not the most important thing. Those two things are most important, because think about it. During the bench test, it's a yes/no question. Can you prep or can you not prep? So most of us, we're dentists, most of us can prep. So how can you stand out? And honestly, during my interview, I was the only one who was not worried about bench test. I was focusing on my interview, and prior to that, I was focusing on my personal statement. And it's amazing how many people don't understand that. It's amazing how many people think that those practical skills are the most important thing that will get you into dental school. It is not true. So today, personal statement. First of all, I wanted to discuss those paid services that you can find online that claim that they can write a personal statement for you. They actually have a lot of claims. They say that they know exactly what the admissions want to see in your personal statement. And I have never even looked them up, so I cannot name you one. I didn't know they existed before I went to my interview, and I met other aspects who were telling me about all the things that they went through. And turns out there are other services like that. And what they are, they basically just have a template that they give out to everybody after you pay the money. They do not ask you any personal questions about you, your experiences, your life, which is what personal statement is about, which it should be. And they give you a blank template thing that they give to everybody. And think about how many applications like that admissions see per year. Nobody cares about how important personal statement is. They just pay off those services and hope that it will be okay, because they say that they know what admissions want. And my recommendation, never even bother with services like that. Your personal statement is a piece of you. It's your hopes, your dreams. This is what your first foot in the door that admissions is gonna see. So never even bother with services like that. It's a huge disservice to yourself if you're trying to use those paid personal statement services. Now we're gonna talk about how to write in general. We are science people, we're doctors, we're not writers. It was very hard for me to go over this writer's block. I didn't know what to start with. And the best thing that helped me, the best advice was write drunk, edit sober. I'm not saying that you actually have to get drunk, but just write everything out that's in your head. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't stand together in a sentence, if it doesn't compile in a good cohesive story. That's not the point. Just think about dentistry, think about yourself, think about your dental school, and just put it on page. Everything that comes out of your head. Just first draft of my personal statement was bizarre. I did not know what I was doing. It was just completely craziness. But then I started looking at those pieces that I just put in my Word document, and I kind of pieced them together, and they actually made sense, and it was actually pretty good. So this is the best advice. Don't overthink it. Don't try to form the sentence completely right away. Just try to put it out on page and then think about it. Some thoughts, of course, not gonna matter. Some thoughts are gonna have to be scratched, but most importantly, just put them out. After your personal statement has been written, you have to show that personal statement to as many people as you can before you submit it. You have to show it to two kinds of people. First, people who are amazing with grammar. Literature majors, people who were writing majors in college. Show it to people who can actually find every grammatic mistake that you made, every comma that you missed. It's extremely important, because if you're writing in your personal statement that you're attentive to details, that you are so organized, and then you make grammatic mistakes and missed commas in your personal statement, that is a red flag saying that you're lying and you're not that organized, actually. So grammar is extremely important. Use the app Grammarly if you're kind of bad in writing, especially if your English is your second language. Grammarly was very helpful for me to find every grammatical mistake or kind of a turn of a sentence that I'm not saying correctly. That's very important too. But also remember that they understand that you're foreign, and that's kind of implied that English is not your first language, but still, you are expected to speak English in school and to work with English-speaking people, so you have to know English amazingly. So that personal statement must have no mistakes. And the second kind of person you have to show your personal statement to after it's written is people who are in dental field. See if your personal statement makes sense from dental standpoint. You don't have to write any scientific facts. You have to realize that admissions people as the same dentists who work in that dental school. Admissions committee is usually compiled of professors, and they're going to read your personal statement. So you have to kind of seem smart, seem interesting. So it's really helpful to show it to other dentists, maybe some professors of yours, maybe some of your college, but not your college buddies, never show it to your college buddies, but dentists who have actually a lot of dental experience, just to see what they think. Is it interesting? Do they want to read it again? So those are two kinds of people that you have to show your personal statement to after it's written. Now we're going to talk about what actually to write in your personal statement. This was very confusing to me because when you try to look up like online on Google how to write a personal statement for dental school, they give out a personal statement for dental school for Americans, where you're just applying to dental school freshman year. But that is not very applicable to us because we actually have dental experience. And American students who are just applying to dental schools write about how they love biology and how they love helping people. And we actually have to have some dental background and describe our dental background in our personal statement. So let's just begin point by point what you have to describe in your personal statement and what I wrote in my personal statement. First of all, who you are. You have to say something personal about yourself. Again, as I said before, your personal statement is the reason is the way to stand out from the pool of identical applications. Everybody is amazing in school. Everybody's the top of the class. Everybody has good GPA. Everybody have work experience and shadowing experience and assisting experience, all kinds of experiences. But your story is the only way they can know your story is through your personal statement. And that's basically the most important factor. They give out the interview invitation because they read your personal statement, they're interested. Of course, you have all the criteria that they need, but personal statement shows them that you're an interesting person and they want to talk to you more. Maybe tell them where you were born. Maybe tell them a little bit about your family. Not a lot, just one paragraph. It would be a good introduction for a personal statement to write who you are and where you're from, and maybe why you fell in love with dentistry in the first place, why you decided to go to dentistry in your country. And that would be a good introduction to kind of let them know you a little better. Second thing that I kind of already mentioned, and that you have to write, absolutely never forget it, why did you choose dentistry in the first place? It's very important for them to know, first of all, why you chose dentistry, and another way, why dentistry in America. So why you chose dentistry in the first place. Maybe you had a great dentist in childhood. Maybe you had a family member who had a terrible dental care and their life was affected by it. So something that dragged you to dentistry in the first place, and also why you like dentistry and why you want to continue practicing dentistry in the United States. Because when you move to the United States, you can do anything. You don't have to go to dental school. You just why dental school? What made you stay in the profession? Did you love studying? What did you love particularly? That will be a must to write it in your application, in your personal statement, because they need to know that you actually want to do it. Another thing that you have to write in your personal statement, or at least I think it's important for them to know why you are coming to the US. Did you move because you got married, like I did? Did you move because you think America can give you more opportunities than your own country? You have to describe it, because I think without that story, your personal statement, your personal story would be incomplete. Because so what? Yes, you love dentistry, you studied dentistry in your own country. If you're such an amazing student, why didn't you stay in your country? Why do you want to come to the US? I feel like it's an important bit to include in your personal statement. And now you can see when we talk about this, when I'm telling you the points what to write, you kind of bring up the paragraphs. First, write about yourself. Second, write why dentistry. Third paragraph, why US. And the fourth paragraph and the last point that you have to write in your personal statement, in my opinion again, of course, is your plans. Of course, after going through dental school, you probably found a field that you enjoy. Maybe you have a lot of experiences that you, of course, will write out in other sections of your application in the particular field, like specialty, like prosthetics, maybe endodontics, something you enjoy. So when you come to the US, after the paragraph about US, you can write, what are your plans in the US? After graduating from a dental school in America, in my 5-year plan, I hope to be an amazing endodontist, and I hope to have every root canal of every person obturated perfectly, or something like that. Just something that will show them that you don't just want to make money, but you have ambitions, you have interests. And those steps during your interview, they will look at your personal statement. They have your whole file. They will read it through very quickly. And that is the point that you can talk to them about. This is one of the questions on the interview that they can discuss. It's something they can find interesting. I was interviewed by a prosthodontist, and in my personal statement, I wrote about maxillofacial surgery and facial prosthodontics. And it was a huge point in our conversation because I think it's interesting and I can talk about it for hours. So make sure you're not just writing about something you did or something you did for a month, something important for you. In the plans section, you should write something very specific. You should write something that you're passionate about. And if you're asked that during the interview, you can answer completely freely. You have a large field of knowledge about that and you can seem passionate about it. So before we move on to things that you should not write in your personal statement, let's talk about summarize your writing plan. First, write about yourself. Second, write about why you chose dentistry. Third, write about why you want to move to the US. What are your life circumstances that bring you to the United States? And fourth, what are your plans for the future? And that's a good structure for the interview. I came up with that when I was writing drunk, editing sober kind of thing. I wasn't actually writing drunk. Sometimes I did. Doesn't matter. Let's not talk about that. That's my personal problems. But however, this helped me establish this model, and in my opinion, it's the most logical way to introduce yourself to admissions committee. And now let's move on to the subject of what never, ever, ever to write in your personal statement. And those things are A, things they already know about you, things they can know they can read in your applications, and B, standard things that everybody writes, that they read a million times. And let's talk about A first. What can they know about you from your application? Your name. Never start your personal statement from writing, my name is so-and-so, and I'm a dentist in this country. They know that. They already read that. So think about it. They're starting reading your application. They're starting reading your personal statement. They need to be hooked. They don't want to be like, oh, that guy again, that guy again. It needs to stand out right away. So your name is not something that will catch their attention. They already know that. You can only have limited amount of space to use for your personal statement. So don't waste it for those phrases. Second thing that they can already know about you, your accomplishments. Like something that you wrote in your experience section during your applications, they again already know that you don't need to write about that. Maybe you can write about how hard it is to achieve that accomplishment, but do not write that you got that accomplishment. You know what I mean? Like if you got a Medal of Honor for amazing prosthodontics or something, don't write about I got a Medal of Honor for amazing prosthodontics. Write about I worked so hard and it was so difficult for me to overcome these problems to get that Medal of Honor for prosthodontics. That makes it more personal, that makes it more human, and that is something that they haven't read before in other sections of your application. The second thing that you shouldn't write is something that everybody writes, like very broad statements, like I'm very organized, I'm determined, I'm smart, I was the top of my class. Again, you can't just write I'm determined. A, because everybody says they are determined. But how do you prove you're determined? If you want to show that you're determined, write that I woke up at 3 in the morning every day. I walked through snow and blizzard to get to my dental school, and I stayed overnight every day. That shows that you're determined. Writing I'm determined doesn't show that. So never use broad statements like that. I'm smart, I'm organized, I'm the best student you will ever find. This isn't specific. If you want to show that you're smart and organized and the best student they ever find, you have to write examples that will show them while reading that, yes, this guy is smart, not saying I'm smart. And that is all I wanted to tell you about personal statement in particular. And now I see that my video is getting too long, and on YouTube I can only upload 15 minutes videos. So let's do this. First 10 people who send me on my Instagram read my personal statement, I will read and give some comments and my opinions on your writing. First 10 people who will text to my Instagram that I will put on the screen, DM me and say, please read my personal statement, and then I will, if you are one of those 10 people, first 10 people that text me, I will give my email and you can send me your personal statement and I will give you my comments. So I hope that's helpful. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know your opinions about this. Leave comments. But better don't leave comments. I never read comments, but I do read my DMs. So text me on Instagram. And I will see you in my next video. Good luck. Bye.